Hey guys, Super Guitar 13 here for PTCG Central, and I just want to review the Empoleon Terrakion deck in a black and white on format. Since the format's switching up, this is still going to be a really powerful deck, and I just want to review the new way it's probably going to look. Just take a look at this deck list to get yourself, so you can check out what's going on. For Empoleon, main attacker of the deck, Attack Man just does an amazing amount of damage for 1 energy. Diving Draw is a great way to draw into supporters, receivers, even plus powers for Terrakions, since a lot of Darkrai's use Eviolites now, try to protect themselves, they're not safe if you can get a plus power. Prinplup. So we're running 2. I like to run 2 just because since you don't really have pawn anymore, you're going to have to discard some stuff with Juniper, so having that extra Prinplup actually does help. 4 Piplups, you kind of have to have them for the Empoleon. Only 1 Virizion. I find using 1 Virizion actually is fine, just because a lot of the time I don't even want to start with it because I have a good enough hand, or I have something else and I could just get my Empoleon out on the second turn. Terrakion is obviously there to counter electric and dark decks, which is just extremely helpful. So we're going to use 4 random receiver. I just like to use a ton of these to make sure that consistency is really good. In a format like this where there's no more junk arm, running that extra 1 or 2 random receiver really does help out your consistency. 4 rare candy, just to evolve your Empoleons. I know that might be a lot, but again, I really want to make sure this deck is consistent, and it's been doing great so far in this new format. 4 rare candy is still good. Besides, you're going to have to discard some stuff with Juniper since we don't have Pont anymore. So, you might discard a rare candy or something, you don't know. 4 catchers, that's pretty self-explanatory. I think every deck is going to use 4 catchers now since we have no junk arms to get them back. 3 switch, Empoleon doesn't really have heavy retreat, but Terrakion does. If you need to get him out of the active spot, or if you want to switch him out for a Virizion if you have a bad start, there you go. 3 communication. Communications just help you to get out your Empoleon on the second turn, or just to get out other stuff that you need to get. Level balls search out Piplups and Prinplups, which is really helpful because then you can communication them away for other helpful stuff like Terrakions and Empoleons. You list it. Then 2 super rods. I like to use this just to get back Piplups, resources and stuff, because a lot of the times Piplups and stuff will be prized, or I'll have to discard them with Juniper, so it's good to get them back. Plus power, alright, 2 of them, just because a lot of Darkrai's use Eviolite now, try to protect themselves from Terrakion, but if you have plus power, that's not going to work. 1 max potion is just really helpful, since Empoleon only runs off 1 energy. Alright, 2 Charon. I like Charon more than Bianca in this deck, simply because, if you think about it, you're drawing through a lot of resources with Diving Draw and Double Draw and all that stuff. So if you use Bianca, a lot of the time you won't be able to draw anything. But if you're using Charon, you'll draw 3, which is just a good thing to ensure. 3 Juniper. I don't like running just straight up 4 Juniper just because I don't really like discarding things, but at the same time, it is really helpful. And I did base a lot of the deck around, discarding things just to keep it really consistent. 4 N, that's the best draw support for this deck now. It keeps it really consistent. This deck is a little slower sometimes, so if you have a bad hand, you can N, make your opponent draw less. But overall, this is a pretty good setup, and I really like using only 3 Junipers and 2 Charons and the 4 N. N is the closest thing we got to Ponce, so there you go, just using the N's, and Charons seem to be more helpful than Biancas in this deck. 6 water, just to fuel Empoleon. He doesn't really need much, he only needs 1 energy. And then 5 to fuel Terrakion, just to make sure that you can always get the fighting energies out. I've seen some people that use a little bit less, but I just like making sure that I can get them out pretty quick. Card that's going to be popular with this deck is Mew EX, definitely, because if you think about it, drop Mew EX, attach a water energy to him. His ability makes it so he can use any attack in play, but you just got to have the required energies, so then you can just use Attack Command on a Mewtwo for the KO. Mewtwo just does not seem like a big threat anymore. In fact, it wasn't even a threat to Empoleon at all. It only runs off of 1 energy, so that's pretty bad for Mewtwo's X-Ball. That might be one reason why this deck does have a pretty good matchup against Mewtwo. Some people even consider using blend energies, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do it because a lot of people use hammers in their decks and stuff like that, so I might actually just keep on using the waters and fires. It seems consistent enough anyway, so yeah. The blend energies are a good idea, but at the same time, like I said, people are using hammers, people are using Garchomp, getting rid of your energies. I don't think it's a good idea in this deck because it's kind of risky. Thanks guys for watching. I really appreciate that. If you wanna, I'm looking for a couple more people to make videos like this. If you want to join the crew, just tell me, I guess.